mental illness. It's extremely hard to get to those groups. And what you want to do is do the best you can everywhere, but sort of we're expecting something maybe not this bizarre to happen, but you know something is going to happen. You just know it is, but you do the best you can.
We have now, Renee or Mike, whoever wants to jump in on this one, but we have a baby safe haven law in all 50 states now?
All 50.
That is that is some good news. Are there some states where it works better than in other states?
New England, right here in Massachusetts, we've had the best record in the country for turning around newborn abandonments. We used to have one deadly abandonment about every 10, 11 months on average prior to the law passing. And prior to actually Renee getting involved was the turning point. Once we had all that, once we had her going out and starting the messaging and young people talking to each other, we went 7 years and 3 months without a deadly abandonment.
Wow.
That's a big turnaround.
That is a huge turnaround. Renee, tell me a little bit about that and how you feel you made that impact. It was just reaching out to young people?
Well, that's right, because, as you know, I'm a singer, and I'm in, the public all the time. And I'm in my young 20s. I can reach out to people who may be going through something like this. I can speak to them directly. They're my peers. So, usually it's, most common where women are between 18 and 30. So that's kind of, right in the age range that I'm in anyway. So I can really speak to them directly and really get the message out. They're my peers. They would be my friends. In that type of circumstance, where they can trust me and know that the information I'm bringing is relevant and could certainly help.
But Mike, you indicated a moment ago that even just in the last 5 weeks, but that over this last year, for some reason, we have more abandonments than we have seen. What's all of a sudden happened where we were doing so well in getting the word out, and now something has happened?
We're kind of an anomaly up here in New England. In the rest of the country, going back a year, September 1st to September 1st, there were over 50 abandonments. About 35 of them were deadly. We're now in, I'd say, almost a crisis situation in the rest of the country. And if you have to compare, again, like timelines, you have to compare who does what. We're the only place in the country that has a young spokesperson. We're the only one. Renee, up until July 1st, was the only person in the 16 to 26, and you really don't want to get a 13-year-old spokesperson out there.
Right,
you
right.
can, but you don't necessarily want to. But she's been the only one in the country, and yet we have the best record. Every place else, the people who go out to the talking are my age, the people that help pass the laws. I'm 60.
So it doesn't relate to the young
relate.
people who are the very people that you are trying to reach. And again, as we're talking about in this House of Horrors case, unfortunately, this is a very difficult individual to be able to
And she
reach.
knew. We looked again at the timelines. You couldn't drive by that sign, and you had to go past that sign hundreds of times just to go to the supermarket and back. And if you look at her Facebook page, and I'm not saying she 100% knew, but she was part of children's issues she was making comments on. A child that drowned in Blackstone, she made comments about that. Missing children, she was making comments about that on her Facebook page within the last 6 to 10 months. She was part of children's issues, and I have no doubt that somehow she maybe knew a little bit, just a little bit. It may need to inspire her to do something properly.
Yeah, to do the right thing. And of course, her lawyer says that she was scared of the live-in boyfriend. Renee, what's the feedback or the reaction that you get from young people, some of whom now may have and lives may have been saved, these babies' lives may have been saved because they now realize that they're not going to get asked questions, that they can go to one of these baby safe havens and drop off that newborn with no questions asked?
Well, just within Massachusetts, the track record has been great since we've really been able to promote this law and get the message out there. I don't ever hear personally from a person who has, surrendered a baby because it's always kept confidential. So, that's the thing. It's that extra option where we don't want to have any deadly abandonments. It's that extra option where, women can feel safe, that the baby will be safe, that they'll be safe. As long as they follow the rule, the law within each state. Like Mike was saying earlier, in some states the baby can be up to 7 days other states 30, other states 60 days. So as long as you follow that law, there will be no questions asked. And, the women can, even get on the hotline before the baby's even born and work out, have an EMT or somebody who's on the hotline help them through the situation before the baby's even born.
Yeah,
So,
Renee, thank you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Listen, if you have a question, we've got a few more minutes until the 8 o'clock news. If you have a question about Baby Safe Haven, New England, Mike Morrisey is with us. He can answer those questions, talk a little bit about the work that they have been doing, a terrific track record here in New England. But we have this terrible, tragic story that is coming out of Blackstone. And as Mike said, I mean, it's just the most, and we've been saying throughout the last couple of days, I mean, it's just the most extreme case that you can imagine. It does shine a light on the fact that, and we come with this with so many stories, whether it's Ferguson, Missouri, or whether it's something like this out of Blackstone, where it does kind of shine a light on some stories that maybe we aren't focused on when we don't have an extreme example to grab our attention in the 24-hour news cycle. So you have some comments on this, or you have some questions about Baby Safe Haven, New England in particular, get them in at 508-438-0965. Much more to come on the WCRN Morning News.
Good morning. WCRN News Time is now 7:51. We've got cloudy